Good afternoon, friends. My name is Frank H. Wu, and I welcome you as president of Queens College to our beautiful campus and here to Colden Auditorium, the largest venue in the world's borough, for our annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commemoration. We are deeply humbled and proud to continue to honor the life and legacy of an iconic leader. We're so profoundly grateful to the Queens Borough President, Donovan Richards Jr., and the Kupferberg Center for the Arts for co-sponsoring this afternoon's event. We will hear from our great Borough President in just a moment, and thank you, Borough President, he's backstage, for your continued support. I now ask you to please rise, if you are able, for the playing of the Black National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing, performed by Isima Leonard and Nathan Fraz. You can find the lyrics by looking at the QR code printed in your program.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing let it resound loud as a rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a wave that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past till now we stand and
You may be seated. Another big round of applause for our initial performers. What a beautiful rendition of Lift Every Voice. I'd like to ask for just a moment of silence in honor of the late Dr. King and all who have sacrificed their lives to advance the cause of social justice, civil rights, and equality for all. Thank you. We'll now begin today's program by welcoming a few special guests in the audience. There are some others hiding backstage who will have a speaking role. I'll be introducing them in just a moment. But here in the audience, we have Andrew Jackson, the former director of the Langston Hughes Library. Feel free to applause. And the very first Queens College MLK Day honoree. We also have the Reverend Jacques-Andre DeGraff of the New York Urban League Board of Directors. And finally, welcoming her back to campus, Glenda Grace, who just concluded service as Senior Vice Chancellor at the City University of New York System Office and formerly Chief of Staff here at Queens College. I'd like to acknowledge and express appreciation for the exemplary work of the Planning Committee for today's festivities. Their hard work is what made this possible. The committee was led by the Dean of Diversity and the Chief Diversity Officer here at Queens College, Jerima DeWeese, and Christopher Williams, lecturer and co-director of the first year writing program. The other names will be shown on the screen. There we go. Thank you again to all the committee members. We'd like to welcome, of course, all of the Queens County and New York community members and leaders to the institution here that we call home. Our department chairs, members of the President's Cabinet, professors, student leaders, college staff, high school guidance counselors, and all of you in this wonderful audience who are joining us on this wintry afternoon. We have a spectacular lineup in today's program featuring remarks from leading government officials and student leaders as well, a new video about civil rights and its legacy here at our beloved Queens College, a keynote address from our distinguished honoree, Arva Rice, President and CEO of the New York Urban League, and finally, a musical performance by the internationally renowned Branford Marsalis Quartet. Today, of course, we honor the legacy and life work of a man whose impact has been felt for so many generations in this diverse democracy of ours, and which through our continued effort will continue for generations yet to come. Throughout his life, Dr. King promoted equality, freedom, justice for all as a matter of principle, and he continued to advance those ideals around the world until his untimely death. Here at Queens College, we strive to stay true to the vision that he described of a just society, just as Dr. King built coalitions that emphasized diversity, equality, and inclusion before that was a catchphrase. We here at Queens College foster partnerships with the many communities that make up this borough. Through our outreach, we are a civic institution dedicated to civil rights. We've always felt this connection to Dr. King ever since he spoke right here in Colden Auditorium, right on this very stage in 1965. 60 years ago, he visited, and his words remain as true now as they were then. Our society has improved and made progress in so many ways, yet we continue to have work to do, and we thank Dr. King for always inspiring us. Our nation, even now, faces profound challenges and concerns, and so we are here not only to recall the life of Dr. King, but to put into practice those ideals he advanced. He said from this very stage, "I still have faith in the future. However dark the night, however dreary the day, I still believe that we shall overcome." Thank you. I hope you enjoy today's program. We start by introducing someone who needs no introduction. We're fortunate to have such a loyal supporter of higher education, the engine of the American dream, in the co-sponsor for today's event. That would be the Queens Borough President. Donovan Richards has provided such outstanding leadership. Please do applaud. He'll be out in 2 seconds. He's provided capital to continue to build here and for all of the CUNY colleges in Queens, and he has a great track record dating back to his time on the New York City Council. He created the Immigrant Welcome Center at Borough Hall, and he's seen so frequently on our campus, from which his sister graduated. Let's hear a warm welcome for Donovan Richards, Jr., the Queens Borough President.
Thank you, Frank. Well, good afternoon. And let me start by, of course, thanking Queens College for honoring Dr. King's legacy on this afternoon. And let's give it up for Frank Wu, who has done a phenomenal job at ensuring that this campus is open to everyone. To Jeff and Jay, thank you, and to the entire team here at Queens College. And of course, this institution has long been a symbol of opportunity, hope, and on the front lines in the pursuit of freedom and justice. And I'm reminded on this afternoon that Dr. King visited here about 60 years ago to commemorate Andrew Goodman, a 21-year-old Jewish student who attended Queens College, who was killed in Mississippi by the Ku Klux Klan for registering African Americans to vote and opening freedom schools for Black Southerners. We remember Andrew and so many freedom riders who paid the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom and justice. They could have stayed home and turned a blind eye to the injustice their neighbors encountered. But they stood up for us, and we remember them today. It is essential. You can clap. It is essential to remember Dr. King and the civil rights movement, as their contributions remain highly relevant today. I am privileged to serve Queens as the first Black man elected borough president, 20th borough president, representing the most diverse county in the United States. On any given day, 190 countries are represented here, and 360 languages and dialects are spoken. I often talk about my own journey. My father became a United States citizen in 2020, and the first election he can vote in was mine for borough president. Don't clap for him. He voted for Frank Wu, I think. I used to give my father challenges. But truly, our diversity is our strength, and we know that here in this county. And we know that in the next 24 hours, our diversity and values will be tested as a nation. In 1967, Dr. King spoke about the three evils of society: racism, war, and poverty. And these issues remain prevalent today. Dr. King said, yes, the hour is dark. Evil comes forth in the guise of good. It is a time of double talk when men in high places have a high blood pressure of deceptive rhetoric and anemia of concrete performance. Sound familiar? My friends, we are living in uncertain times, but I know that we will get through this together. Nonetheless, it is incumbent upon us to stand up against injustice anywhere it rears its ugly head. Dr. King taught us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. What impacts one of us impacts all of us. They may come for me in the morning, but I can assure you they're coming for you in the evening. So all of our struggles are interconnected. Civil rights, immigrant rights, women rights, LGBTQIA+ rights, and human rights, among others, may face significant challenges from those who seek to revert us to earlier restrictive periods, such as the era of Jim Crow. I've heard folks over the course of the last few weeks saying we're going to be okay for the next 4 years. But we can't get complacent. What if Dr. King had said that in the face of adversity? What if he hadn't marched from Selma to Montgomery with freedom fighters for your right to vote? What if Ruby Bridges hadn't been brave enough to walk through mobs of angry folks, spitting and cursing at her in order for her to desegregate the school system in Louisiana? Dr. King didn't die for us to be complicit in the face of autocracy, mediocrity, oligarchy, and hypocrisy. We must stand up and fight for the future we want for future generations to come. We must fight for the least amongst us. We must march for those who can't march for themselves, those who will be scared behind closed doors because they fear ICE raids. As Dr. King said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Queens, may we all move forward together as we strive to make this a more perfect union, because we aren't going back. Thank you, Queens College. God bless each and every one of you. May we make sure that Dr. King's legacy lives on through each and every one of us. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
The borough president does so much. Someone else who is no stranger to our campus, the recipient of the 2023 Queens College President's Medal, the highest administrative honor that we confer, is the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of New York. Antonio Delgado, please join me in welcoming him to the podium.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Queens College and President Wu, for your leadership. To my friend, Borough President Donovan Richards, thank you for your strong words and for your leadership. CUNY Chancellor Rodriguez, to the honoree, Arthur Rice, thank you for your work at the New York Urban League. It is good to be with you all this afternoon. I grew up in the church. I was there every Sunday. And I was also there on Saturdays because I was in the choir, so we had choir rehearsal, and I was there on Wednesday nights because of Bible study with my mom. And during the summer, I was there for vacation Bible school. So I'm a church kid. And we used to march to the Empire State Plaza, the Macedonia Church family. And some of my most vivid memories were, even though it was super cold and frigid in some of those marches in January, you feel the warmth of the community and all these church families coming together to march into the egg. And then when you get in there, you have, these choirs just singing majestically. And here I am, a 9, 10-year-old kid, and just soaking up the love and the community and the fellowship. And little did I know how important it was to be anchored in that love, in that power. And I just want to share with you what I think really is the legacy of Dr. King. It boils down to his unwavering, unyielding, militant, radical commitment to love. And he exhibited through his practice of nonviolence. I mean, he talked about how his commitment to nonviolence was anchored in love. There was a militancy to it that oftentimes does not fully get spoken about, but to confront evil and to confront hostility so directly in the way that he did, and to not flinch or to surrender his commitment in any moment, I think pretty clearly demonstrates his absolutism when it came to the power, the infinite power of love. And he talked about this idea of unenforceable obligations and how, quote, they are beyond the reach of the laws of society. They concern inner attitudes, genuine person-to-person relations, and expressions of compassion that law books cannot regulate and jails cannot rectify. He says that they are met by one's commitment to an inner law written on the heart. Man-made laws assure justice, but a higher law produces love. I think these are very powerful words when you think about the times we're living in today. Our borough president talked about the times, alluded to it. I think Dr. King might call these times midnight in the moral order. He talked about in his sermon, a knock at midnight, midnight in the moral order. This is a time where our moral principles lose their distinctiveness, he said. It's a time where folks choose to live by the 11th commandment, otherwise known as thou shalt not get caught. He said that in the midnight of the moral order, it's okay to lie so long as you dress it up with real finesse. It's okay to even steal. Just don't call it robbery, call it embezzlement. He said in the midnight of the moral order, the ethic is to be slick. Survival of the fittest is replaced by survival of the slickest. Midnight in the moral order. I don't think it is a coincidence that tomorrow is happening at the same time we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King. The light and the dark shall meet. Dr. King told us, though, that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And love is the only thing that can drive out hate. Hate cannot drive out hate. He also said that on our quest for power, one cannot bypass their concern for morality. So we can talk a lot about politics in these days and left and right, but I'm here to remind folks that we have to always remember right versus wrong. Integrity, decency, honesty, compassion, truth, justice, unenforceable obligations. The people, we decide if we're going to collectively abide by unenforceable obligations. The law books can't make it happen. Law enforcement can't make it happen. We, the people in the democracy, decide. A democracy rooted in a moral idea that we are all created equal, irrespective of race, gender, sexual orientation, religion. We are all human. Democracy rooted in a moral idea needs moral leaders. So, in conclusion, I'll leave you with a bit of hope from Dr. King, one of my favorite quotes of his that I think speaks to this moment that we're in, and I hope you carry it with you. He says that oceans of history are made turbulent by the ever-rising tides of hate. History is cluttered with the wreckage of nations and individuals that pursued this self-defeating path of hate. Love is the ultimate force that makes for the saving choice of life and good against the damning choice of death and evil. Therefore, the first hope in our inventory must be the hope that love is going to have the last word. I love you all. God bless.
We are so well served in the borough, the city, and the state with such excellent leadership. And here in the City University of New York system as well. A generation after Queens College opened its doors in 1937, it helped to form CUNY, which has now grown into the nation's largest urban system of public higher education. It is headed by someone who's very important to Queens College and to me, someone who preceded me in office. That's right, the former president of Queens College, the current chancellor of the CUNY system, Felix V. Matos Rodriguez, joined this afternoon by his lovely wife, Dr. Liliana Arabia. Please join me in welcoming my predecessor and my boss, Dr. Matos Rodriguez.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, President Wu. And why don't we all give a big round of applause to our host. Thank you so much, Frank, for your leadership here at Queens College and for making this day happen today. My appreciation to our Borough President Richards, who spoke before, the Lieutenant Governor Delgado. Thank you so much for joining this great, great crowd here today to celebrate an outstanding New Yorker. We also have some additional guests. I'm not going to tell you, so you get to see them after I speak. But my congratulations to Arva Rice. I think that if there is someone who embodies so many of the lessons of Dr. King, you can clap to her. Yes, you can. Yes, yes. Many of the lessons of Dr. King is Arva and her trajectory here in New York. And I want to thank and the entire Queens College team, because I think that Arva would agree with me. It is always incredible when any organization acknowledges the work that we have done in an event. But the folks at Queens College really know how to honor people. Normally when you get honored, you might be in a gala, right? And the gala is nice. You're raising funds for an organization, and that has great value. But you're probably going to end up not having a great meal and being part of a very long program, right? But the folks at Queens College, right, not only are they honoring you on a very special day, celebrating Dr. King here in Queens, but they also got the Branford Marsalis Quartet. I mean, talk about, if that's, I couldn't think of a better way of honor anybody than to have that incredible group performing in that day. So congratulations and thank you also to the quartet for joining us here today at Queens. And this is a special celebration here at Queens College. And I'm going to say that I'm particularly proud that it was a celebration that we began at the time that I was president here at Queens, because we thought that it was so important to honor the legacy of Dr. King that was connected with Queens College and also with the City University of New York in so many ways. But I also want to acknowledge the key people, which, like in every case, you have an incredible team behind you who's always being thoughtful and finding out incredible ways to have a positive impact on the community, and the Brain Trust that put together the original MLK celebration here that led to getting the opportunity to honor Dr. King and honor some incredible New Yorkers here. I want to acknowledge them. Two of them continue to be part of the team here at Queens College. So Jeff Rosenstock, let's give Jeff a big round of applause. Jay Hersenshon, the Senior Vice Chancellor for Communications and Marketing, and somebody who's now a civilian, but used to be part of the team here, Glenda Grace. So I want to thank the three of them, because they were the people that put together the original concept of this celebration. And And of course, the celebration this year, if you were listening to some of the comments that President Wu made at the beginning, has a special significance because we're celebrating 60 years in which we had Dr. King right here, right? In this very campus, in this very auditorium, speaking to the community here at Queens College and in New York, and also honoring the legacy of fellow civil rights activists. First, the Queens College student Andrew Goodman, and his colleagues Michael Schwerner and James Chaney, which, as you know, were slain in Mississippi less than a year before Dr. King was speaking here on campus. And they were slain because they were carrying that fight for civil rights very concretely, in this case, fighting to be able to get black voters in Mississippi the right to get registered and to vote. And obviously, today is not the day to walk around the campus to get to know this campus, right? The weather is not the most. Maybe there's some of you who have like extra heavy gear, right, to be able to navigate the campus. But when the campus has more welcoming weather, for those of you who are not familiar with your campus, it's a beautiful campus, but I would like you to take a stroll and look up to the bell tower, which is right on top of where our beautiful library is here at Queens College. And that clock tower honors Chaney, Goodman, and Schwerner for their contributions to the civil rights movement. And the bell tolls every hour to acknowledge all the fallen heroes of the civil rights movement. So when you hear that tower, remember Dr. King, remember all those who had lost their life fighting so that others can have the same rights that all of us enjoy. And of course, the connection of Dr. King was not just a connection that was special here at Queens College. It extended all across the City University of New York. He delivered one of his most memorable speeches at City College in the commencement there in 1963, at the height of one of the most heated periods in the civil rights movement. And it was the inspiration from that speech at City College in '63 that got some of the political leadership and some of the civic leadership here in New York to create pioneering programs that have had an impact on higher education in creating generations of students that get to contribute to the New York City and New York State economy with the creation of the equal opportunity programs, SEEK and College Discovery, which are still going on. So that legacy of opportunity, that legacy of the power of higher ed to transform lives and to contribute to all our lives is connected very concretely to the inspiration that Dr. King gave to us all the time, but particularly at that commencement speech in 1963, which he spoke about higher education. So I also would like to end with words, and President Wu alluded to the words that Dr. King gave here when he visited us at Queens College. And he closed his remarks to the audience who was here with the words, "However dark the night, however dreary the day, I still believe that we shall overcome." And I think everybody who's here today believes those same words. And let's use the inevitable inspiration that we're going to get from Arva's keynote and the great inspiration that the music from the Marsalis Quartet is going to give us extra energy, to give us extra mojo, to keep fighting for the good fight, so we shall all overcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
We now welcome two members of our diverse and talented student body here at Queens College. The Student Association President, William Barron, who's pursuing a degree in history and secondary education, a United States Army veteran. He's the recipient of the Colonel Gorman Scholarship, which is awarded to veterans here who have demonstrated leadership during their time as students. Please join me in welcoming the Student Body President, William Barron.
Welcome and good afternoon. It's a privilege to be here on this special day. Queens College stands out as a significant educational institution, deeply rooted in its historical legacy and committed to diversity. This alignment with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision of equality and empowerment through education underscores the transformative power of learning. Dr. King understood that education is crucial for personal and social transformation, and he would likely view colleges like Queens College as a pivotal in nurturing informed citizens capable of instigating substantial social change. The college's dedication to inclusivity and social justice mirrored Dr. King's dream of a society where education served as a tool for dismantling barriers and fostering mutual understanding among diverse groups. By emphasizing these principles, Queen College emphasizes Dr. King's beliefs, highlighting the central role of education in promoting a fairer and more just society. In the broader context of social advancement, institutions like Queens College plays a critical role in cultivating critical thinking and ethical leadership, attributes that Dr. King passionately advocated for during the fight for civil rights. Consequently, the impact of such educational institution is profound in the ongoing discourse regarding the quest for equality and justice. So why not Queens College? I ask again. Queens College stands out due to its commitment to community service and advocacy, which reflects the principles exposed by Martin Luther King Jr. The college actively engages students in significant initiatives that tackles pressing social issues, thereby not only commemorating King's legacy, but also motivating upcoming generations to persist in the pursuit of justice and equality. This dedication to service illustrates how educational institutions can play a pivotal role in fostering a just society. By integrating King's teaching into its curriculum and outreach efforts, Queens College cultivates a culture of activism and social responsibility among its students. Such involvement is essential for nurturing informed citizens who are equipped to challenge injustice. Ultimately, the alignment of Queens College missions with the values championed by King emphasize the transformative power of education. It serves as a reminder that institutions of higher learning have a crucial responsibility to inspire and prepare students to contribute positively to their communities and advocate for systematic change. And that is why it's Queens College. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Barron. We now have Gabrielle Gale. She goes by Summer. Summer is a computer science major and vice president of the Black Student Union. We thank her for her leadership of this vitally important Queens College student organization. Please welcome Vice President Summer Gale.
Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for coming here today. I have prepared a short speech discussing the importance of Martin Luther King Jr., as well as the importance of education. Martin Luther King Jr., a holder of a doctorate, undoubtedly understood the power and necessity of higher education. In a world where countless individuals fight for visibility and recognition, education is an indispensable tool in the ongoing struggle for justice and equity. The students of Queens College have long exemplified this principle, building a legacy of activism and advocacy for the marginalized. In 1966, students organized sit-ins to protest systemic discrimination and daily injustices, an effort that required passion and awareness given to them through education. Without the foundation of higher education, which takes many forms, individuals remain unaware of the pervasive injustices that threaten to reverse the progress achieved by past activists. To be anti-racist, one must first fully unpack the word racist and its origins. Knowledge equips individuals with the tools to challenge inequity. Without it, one enters the fight for justice unprepared, essentially walking unarmed into battle. In this context, lifelong learning becomes essential. To honor the activists who came before us and to strive for a world where we can pass on to future generations proudly, we must all embrace the role of perpetual students. When we give up learning, not only do we fail ourselves, but we risk becoming complacent, allowing the forces of injustice to remain unchanged. True progress demands continuous education, reflection, and action. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
What a powerful reminder. At this time, we'd like to invite back up to the stage our Borough President, Donovan Richards Jr., CUNY Chancellor Felix V. Matos Rodriguez, and the MLK Committee co-chairs, Jarima DeWeese and Professor Christopher Williams, and of course, our keynote speaker, Arva Rice. We are so fortunate to have Arva Rice with us this afternoon, a passionate community leader dedicated to creating pathways to success for young people with an emphasis on helping girls and women. She has served as president and CEO of the New York Urban League for 16 years, an organization which for 100 years has helped to advance African Americans. We are pleased to present to President Rice two different tokens of our great esteem. She will be receiving the 2025 Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commemoration. The screen will show a list of prior recipients of this prestigious annual award, and we have a special frame picture designed for her showing the prominent civil rights moments in Queens College history. I believe President Donovan Richards, Borough President Richards, will be presenting these. Give me a moment to get them from underneath the podium. Would President Donovan Richards like to take the mic?
Well, let's give it up for Arva Rice, a trailblazer, freedom fighter in our midst, living legend. So much to say about the work that she does, which is critical in carrying out the legacy of Dr. King. And I'll just read briefly and then just touch on a personal note for me on some of the work she's done. Arva Rice, whereas at the New York Urban League, Arva Rice oversees programs, services, and advocacy efforts that help African Americans of underserved communities secure a first-class education, achieve economic self-reliance, and protect their civil rights. And whereas, and she has a long bio, by the way, we can only put so many words on this thing. But whereas prior to joining the New York Urban League, Arva was the executive director of Project Enterprise, an organization that provides business loans, technical assistance, and peer support to entrepreneurs, and whereas Arbor Wright's extensive public service efforts have also included membership on the New York City Equal Employment Practices Commission and the New York City Commission on Gender Equity, and I just want to touch on her work as the executive director of the Civilian Complaint Review Board, which was very important work because we can have fair policing and safe streets and investments. And it's not an easy role. As the former public safety chair of the city council, I had oversight over the NYPD. And I had oversight of the Civilian Complaint Review Board before she took over. And it's a very tough position because you have to really try to strike the balance between safety and communities. And I often would get challenged during that period by the police union. And I would say I'm not anti-police. You know, I secured over $100 million to build a police precinct. But what I would say is there is no contradiction in asking for safe streets and fair policing, because my first encounter with the police department was at 13 years old being stopped and frisked right here on Merrick Boulevard in Southeast Queens. Thank God I survived it. Thank God I survived it. But this is the work that she did in certainly ensuring that there is accountability. And yes, we can respect and love our police officers and want them to get home. And she was unfairly targeted for some of her work, and I could say it, she can't say it. But I'm just glad that you stood firm in your beliefs, and it says a lot about character. You know, Dr. King talks about, you know, in the time of convenience, right? You show what your real character is, right? And inconvenience as well. And I just want to thank you on behalf of all of those in this city, all of those across Queens County, all 2.4 million residents, for your work of ensuring that, one, we have economic justice, we have safer streets, because when you have fair policing, you can work with the police department. That's what makes communities safer, and of course, investment in communities. With that being said, it gives me great honor. I'm like a little kid in the schoolyard right now, in a candy store, because this is a legend, someone I look up to and adore, someone I followed, and it's a great honor to be able to present you with a small token of appreciation on behalf of the people of Queens County. Congratulations, Arbor Rice.
And two additional tokens of appreciation from Queens College. And now the podium is turned over to Arva Rice, President of the Urban League.
Oh my goodness, I am overwhelmed. That was just such a wonderful and warm introduction. Thank you, Borough President. Thank you, President Wu, Chancellor Felix Rodriguez, and Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado. I am honored to stand before you as the recipient of the Queens College Martin Luther King Award at an institution with such deep roots in the civil rights struggle. As we just saw in the video, this institution did not offer courses and hold lectures about the civil rights movement. Your students and faculty lived it. Many schools talk about being embedded and committed to community, but Queens College does not simply talk the talk, they walk the walk. And a special thank you to long-term and dear friend Jay Hershenson. Queens College could not recruit a better advocate for school and community partnerships. I will not be before you long, because I know I am the only thing standing between you and the melodic sounds of the Branford Marsalis Quartet. I was asked today to tell you who I am and why this day means so much to me, my family, and my organization. Like so many of you, I stand before you concerned that our voting rights are being eroded, books being banned, women's rights dismantled, and the tragic casualties of the changing climate. State legislatures, and as of tomorrow, the federal branch, is enabling or leading attacks on basic civil rights. Those who wish to reverse the key civil and economic advances are utilizing the legal system to limit access to higher education and the workforce. History is being rewritten with the stories of Black Americans being relegated to the footnotes, if at all. So many of the victories that our mothers and grandmothers fought for seem to be at risk. So for all of those reasons and more, I am grateful for this honor and the opportunity to reflect on the life and the urging of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. On this day, we celebrate Martin Luther King, who worked for a reality that no one had ever experienced. Today, we celebrate the Martin Luther King who wept for 4 little girls and 3 young men who lost their lives going to Sunday school. Today, we celebrate the Martin Luther King who was considered an outsider, an agitator, and labeled a communist. Today, we celebrate the Martin Luther King who lived in uncertain times with his phone tapped and every deed scrutinized. Today, we celebrate a man who was killed before his dream was ever realized. And today, we celebrate a man who should inspire each and every one of us to do and to be more. For those whose paths I've crossed before, I always introduce myself as the second woman to lead the New York Urban League in its 106-year history. I am the one chosen to lead an organization who helped integrate New York City public hospitals, created the first sleepaway camps for Black children, and opportunities for high school dropouts to get their GEDs in street academies. Today, we find jobs and careers for New Yorkers, help students get through high school, transition to college, and create and build small businesses. When COVID hit, we provided myth-dispelling information, then PPP, emergency loans for kids whose college experience was abruptly interrupted, and support to small businesses who were in need. When George Floyd was murdered, we wanted to hold corporations accountable for their pledges to help eradicate racism. So we created a diversity and inclusion lab. The same year, we also created our Small Business Solutions Center, which supported hundreds of small businesses serving the critical needs of small business owners. I am the CEO who honored one of our program participants who graduated from our street academy and traveled to Africa, Dapper Dan. And this year, we will honor the New York Urban League's own Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Braggs, who's also a graduate of our programs. I am CEO of the institution whose story is held in the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture, who was created through its first grant from the Carnegie Foundation through the New York Urban League. As you heard from your borough president, I am the former interim chair of the New York City Civilian Complaint Board, which is where New York City residents come when they have an interaction with the police department where they are either hurt or treated improperly. And I am the one who was not confirmed in that role when I pushed for more resources and true police accountability. I am a nonprofit leader that has created financial literacy curriculum at Girls Incorporated, prepared young adults for leadership in nonprofit organizations as the founding executive director of Public Allies, and given loan and training for small businesses at Project Enterprise. I am Billy and Shelley Rice's daughter. I am the child of sharecroppers in Arkansas who moved from the South to the North to create better opportunities for their children. Their commitment to education and the responsibility to extend a hand to the next person was instilled in me. I am Mila, Natalie, Peyton, Zora, and Julius's auntie, whose mission is to make a positive impact in the life of a girl. I am the hope of my great-grandmother, Chester May, and the dream of her daughter, Annabelle, who had a stroke in a cotton field with her arm still reaching for a barrel of cotton. But on this Martin Luther King Day, one day before the inauguration, life's most pressing question is, who are you? My brothers and my sisters, we are living the pages of the chapters of the books that will define our time. What will your chapter say? Did we become the Martin Luther King that this moment demanded? Did we risk our comfort to speak out, to be unpopular, to lose positions and titles for what is right and what is just? Did we do more? Did we give more? And did we become more? Too often, we want to become a mentor, but lose our commitment the first time our mentee does not return our text or does not come to the bowling activity. We want to lead a workshop, but we are frustrated when only 3 people come instead of the 20 who registered. We want to answer the call when the men in the corner are work ready, when the children are committed to the studies, or when the young women act like ladies. We must be ready to invest our time and energy even when we can't see our way to the finish line. My brothers and sisters, who are you? Will you join a march, be part of a letter writing campaign, or boycott to some, or recommit to diverse suppliers, diverse hiring, retention, or promotion of others? Will you keep pushing for DEI when it is popular and when it is not? Will you keep contributing when we move forward, or even when we have to take a step back? Will you keep toiling when we do not know if this activity, this meeting, this strategy, or this policy will work? Will you keep fighting when the verdict goes against you, when the videotape is ignored, and when the children do not come home? Will you stay committed when the wins seem imminent and when the finish line is nowhere in sight? When you fight when the critique is private and even when it is public? This time next year, none of us know if we will have a Department of Education, an independent Department of Justice, or any federal commitment to equity and inclusion. But I do know that at this time next year, we will still have each other. So during this Martin Luther King weekend, I want to leave you not with the words of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, but the words of his wife, Coretta Scott King, who once powerfully said, "Freedom is never really won. You earn it and win it in every generation." This is our generation's moment. Our time is now. Who will you be? Thank you.
What a powerful speech. Another round of applause, Arva Rice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was inspiring. Thank you. Thank you, Arva Rice of the Urban League. Thank you so very much. We are honored by your presence with us on this occasion.